On the previous episode of the podcast, that's episode 41, I walked through some of the biggest shifts happening right now with SEO and AI, what's most important. And I mentioned at the end of the episode that I would come back and take you behind the scenes of the new AI module that we added to the SEO course. Before you continue on in this episode, if you have not listened to episode 41, I highly encourage that you go back and listen to that so you get a broader perspective of what the shifts are, what are the main important takeaways and ideas. And then this episode is going to get more into the weeds, more of the specifics, more of like, maybe you should take notes. So definitely listen to episode 41 first, and then you come back here. Originally, I was just going to expand on what we talked about in the last episode, but I ended up switching it up last minute, and I decided to share one of the most important lessons from the module instead, because I really felt like this would give you more impact for you to be able to make changes onto your website and know what the heck we're talking about, right? I don't want to just keep it broad with you guys. I always want to be as helpful as possible. That's really, truly my goal. I don't want to just spout off general information that you can't run with and actually implement. All right, let's hit play on lesson 4 of the AI module inside our SEO course. Welcome, Petpreneur, to the Pet Marketing Unleashed podcast. I'm your host, Michaela Vargas, founder, designer, and educator behind Pet Marketing Unleashed. This podcast is all about growing your pet business without the stress. Here, you'll find episodes packed with actionable tips and advice for streamlining your online presence, avoiding burnout, and onboarding new clients while you're away from your desk or out with the dogs. So pop in those earbuds and learn stress-free marketing and website strategies with me while you head out on your next dog walk, pet sitting visit, drive to your next session, or just wherever your pet business takes you next. Let's dive in.
All right, let's wrap up this module with a lesson on how to improve your overall AI visibility. The good news is here again that most of this is already covered with the SEO foundations we're covering in this course and strategic copy on your website. I really don't think that copywriting has ever been as important as it is right now. And I'm not just saying that because we can help with you with the copy side of things. You can learn more about below this video. We have a service for copywriting if that is something that you're interested in. But I'm not just saying it for that reason. Whether you work with us or whether you don't, it's so important to master your copywriting and your messaging, especially now when it's become more specific and nuanced with the implementation of AI specifically. Because if you sound like every other business in your area doing similar services, you won't necessarily show up in the search results unless you're already well ranking by far as the best. But especially for those in competitive markets, that's not necessarily the case. Even if you are ranking higher with people who are evolving and adapting to this AI strategies, by getting more niche down and specific and strategic, they can pass you up as well. This is something that you always need to make sure that you are on top of when it comes to the content and the strategy on your website. You've got to prioritize everything in this course and the copy on your website. Wix has a suggested task section for the AI visibility as well. And coincidentally, it includes everything that I'm talking about here. Essentially, do you have the proper SEO foundations, right? Those include things like SEO page settings optimized, the site hierarchy of your website, accessibility of your website, the overall user experience, and the overall site design of your website. Because you want that proper flow, you want those foundations. We're going to cover that in the next module, so you'll have that taken care of. Next is making sure that your Google Business Profile is up to date. I have a stat that says sites with a single visit from Google Business Profile in a month saw AI discovery rates rise by 9%. So that's super, super important. Next is creating consistent blog content. Even if that's only quarterly or every other month or once a month or whatever you can do. And a stat on that is that 2 blog posts a month were 10% more visible on AI platforms. So again, blog content is actually very important. I think some people are like, well, there's no point in blogging because AI and all this. No, it's even more important. The more we're updating our website, the better for SEO. The more we have the right keywords for showing up in search results for people who are searching for that type of content is going to give you more visibility in the AI results as well. Next is just staying active and consistent topic-wise everywhere. So when it comes to SEO, it's not just your website. It's everywhere that your business shows up, like Google Business Profile, like social media, like being featured on a blog post or a podcast, whatever it is, wherever you show up for your specific specialty on that sort of topic, the better for AI search results as well. And lastly, of course, I've talked about this a couple times, is strategic copywriting. Your content absolutely needs to sell and speak exactly to what people are putting into AI search, just like how they do in regular search. Just now it's more focused, it's more specific, and it's narrowed down to individual, which is why customizing and writing more strategic and specific copy is so, so important. And again, we can help with this if you need help with it. I'll provide more information below. but copywriting is so crucial to be able to be more specific in the search results, or at least in blog posts as well. So again, this is all about doing fundamentals well, consistently, and clearly. That's going to help you immensely with AI visibility. I also think it's important to touch on what AI tools are actually pulling from. Wix actually ran a large analysis of over 75,000 AI answers and over 1 million citations, specifically from ChatGPT, Google AI Mode, and Perplexity. And they found that more than half of AI citations, 52% to be exact, come from 3 content types. That's listicles, articles, and product pages. So when they say listicles and articles, we're talking blog content here. Product pages obviously could be applied to services as well. And I'll link the article that I'm referencing below this video so that you can see that. But essentially, the biggest takeaway for me was that when people are looking for education and or more information, etc., things like that, they're not looking for your homepage or your services page. They are looking for articles and blog posts. This makes up a large portion of queries in AI. So if you are not showing up in AI results, because I think sometimes people are like, well, how come all of a sudden I'm not getting traffic? And that's because, AI is more of us, people are using AI more. So maybe your traffic looks down, but you would potentially show up in AI search results. So if you're seeing that you're not showing up in those search results for AI or not getting that sort of traffic, you may want to look at how much you're actually blogging quality educational content via your blog that people are searching for, because that may be why. In contrast, when people are searching for local businesses or services, like, hey, I already know I need a dog walker, I just need to find one, essentially, they want to access a service page or a category page, and also homepages. We need to appeal to both of these types of searches when it comes to content on our website. We need to have quality blog posts, and we need to have quality services pages and a quality homepage, which is like the content on your web page, on those pages, and also the SEO settings and everything like that, structured markup, all of that stuff. Those pages need to be killer, because in order for it to show up, you need to be creating content with keywords that resonate with that type of search, if that makes sense. So if somebody is looking for more information, that needs to lead to a blog post. If they're looking for a service, that needs to lead to the homepage. And you do that through the content on those pages. Blog posts are going to build trust, but they're not necessarily going to drive decisions or actual purchases. Product pages convert, but they don't educate. So it's important to separate our copy out and make sure that we're appealing with keywords, with page SEO settings, things like that, to the proper pages that we want people to go for those specific types of queries and searches. On top of this, we are also headed in a new direction when it comes to search itself. Microsoft has the new Microsoft has a new agentic web, or what is also called NL web. Essentially what this is, it complements the SEO and GEO work that you've already put in place, which is essentially the structured data that you've added to your site for search purposes. It essentially is like a different, more advanced and interactive way to use search. So they are essentially saying the new search, the new Google, essentially is going to be this agentic search, which is the ability for AI to interact with you to get you the information that you need, right? So what NLM uses to build its index is the structured data and data from your website. So we want to make sure that all of the SEO foundations are set in place, and look into what your website platform actually automates in this process for you. For example, for most Wix websites, the groundwork for NL Web is already there. For older sites that were created prior to April of 2026, you'll want to just toggle and enable NL Web, and I'll link below a video for that so you know how to do it. Super easy to just toggle on. And for any sites in Wix that were created after April 2026, you will have this automatically on your website, so you don't need to do anything. Basically from there though, Wix will automatically add preset markup to several different page types, including the homepage and booking services pages and blog posts and FAQ sections on important pages. Again, if you have a site older than April of 2026, you will need to manually opt into that Wix blog feature as well for the specific blog pages. So again, I'm going to link everything that you need below this video on how to do that. So you want to toggle on NL Web, and you want to toggle on structured markup data for the Wix blog if you are on Wix and have a site older than April of 2026. For other pages, you can add markup manually through the SEO tab, but I wouldn't stress it too hard. We have a bonus lesson at the end of this course if you want to learn more about that advanced feature. We're kind of getting into a little bit more advanced SEO when we talk about things like structured data and things like that. So don't stress that too hard. I just want to introduce the concept and let you know where AI is going when it comes to search and all of that. And I know there's a lot of information when it comes to all of this too, which is why I'm just kind of introducing it to you. But you'll see in the next module, we actually get into the implementation of SEO and how to do these foundations properly. And that's what we want to worry about more is the SEO foundations, the content on your site. But it's super important that we kind of get familiar with these terms and start to know that this is where search is leading. So again, depending on your website platform, I'm sure others will be following along in terms of sending this data to NL Web and agentic search and all of that stuff. But you just potentially, if you have a different platform other than Wix, I would just maybe reach out to your website platform or just Google like Squarespace NL Web or WordPress NL Web and kind of see what you can do to help with all of that. And finally, it will be still important with all of this stuff when it comes to AI, NL Web, all of it. We need to keep things super accurate and up to date on your website. From the article, again, from Wix, in quotes, I'm going to read you the quote from the article. It says, since NL Web serves your content as direct answers rather than directing users to browse your site themselves, outdated or inaccurate information has more immediate consequences than it would in traditional search. For example, a product that's no longer available, a price that's changed, or a service description that no longer reflects what you offer can all result in misleading responses. And therefore, you will be less likely to show up in those things. So it's super crucial for your data and on your website to be accurate and up to date. And that includes in your actual content of your website as well as the SEO settings, so that when it pulls that data and shows it in search results without even going to your website, that needs to be accurate, or else they're not going to start to pull that data because it's going to be a hit and miss, basically. It's not going to be correct, and that's not what we want. So we want to make sure everything on your website is up to date. The good news here, because again, I know this is a lot of like techie words, different types of searches and all of this stuff, and I just like to get ahead of it. I try to just put up to date on everything for you guys. NL Web and traditional SEO will reinforce each other more than they compete with each other. So don't necessarily think of it as two separate ballgames. This is why I stress the importance of your basic SEO foundations and the copy on your website, because the same qualities that help a page rank well in search, like structure, headings, metadata, high quality content, also make it easier for NL Web and AI bots to understand and show you in results in the queries. So do not stress this. I just want you to become familiar with what everything is, and we'll get into the actual things you can implement into your website for SEO. And I'm sure there's going to be more to come as it develops, and we'll be sure to add lessons or content into the course as it does develop so that you guys are up to date with anything that you need to do. And we always send out email updates whenever we add in new content for you guys. I know this is a ton of information. It seems overwhelming. I feel like there's so much changing in business right now. So just remember to keep things strong in the foundations and the copy, and the rest will follow. You could always come back and look more into the advanced settings at that point of, things you can do regarding schema markup or learning more about the agentic web and NL Web and all of that. But for now, just keep going along with this course, and we'll get into the actual implementation process of all of your SEO settings.
Okay, I hope that was helpful for you. I wanted to give you a clear picture of what's going on in the AI world these days because it is a lot. I hope I broke it down as simple as possible. All this information can make you feel like you need to completely change what you're doing, especially when you're not necessarily fully understanding it all. So I hope that I gave some clarity there. And the good news again is that a lot of this comes down to doing the right foundations well. And I really do feel hopeful about it all because instead of being insanely different in terms of tactics, it's really about how your website is helping someone find you and being the best solution to their problem. We mainly need to make sure we're being more specific, clear, niched, and strategic with the website copy and SEO settings on our website. I think it's like almost one of those things too. When I first started teaching on SEO or was interested in learning more about SEO as a website designer, it seems that like SEO is so complicated and all this jargon and it's so, whatever. And you have to pay for experts and you have to pay for ads in order to rank. And it's this thing that you can't handle on your own. And then I realized, this isn't actually as complicated as people made it seem. And that's why I released this SEO course so that people can tackle it on their own and actually understand it. And it's not as complicated as we think it's meant to be. And I feel like that's almost what's happening now with AI search and visibility and all these new terms. And it's like, all right, this is a beast. I need to do all this research. And so I have been, and obviously I'm learning a lot of new things. Things are changing a lot for sure. And it is a little bit overwhelming. Like that's not false. But I also think that it's not as overwhelming as we thought it would be. We just need to be on top of it. We just need to be aware. We just need to evolve. And we just need to make sure that we are speaking directly to the people we want to be working with. I think it's more of a marketing thing than it is necessarily what it used to be in terms of SEO. Like, right, SEO used to be like specific keywords. As long as you complete this checklist, you're going to rank well. Well, now there's so many websites, there's so much competition, there's AI and it understands a lot. We no longer can just like check off a box and then rank well, right? We need to actually be the best solution to the problem. We need to communicate that well on our website and in our SEO settings. That's essentially it, right? It's actually a little bit more simple than we think. So the lesson you just listened to is one of 4 inside the AI module that we just added to our SEO course for pet businesses. The full course goes into so much more, like how your website should be structured, how to optimize your pages, how to approach keyword research, how to do on and off page SEO, how to do local SEO, including your Google business profile, and how it all works together. And my biggest hope with this episode is that it actually inspires you to take action. Even if that means you take this episode and you apply it on your own or you ask somebody else for help, I don't just want you to listen to this episode and know the information but not do anything with it. It's so important to shift and evolve with the times so that you can continue to show up higher in search and AI bot results. This can mean more money in your business. These changes really can make a big difference. I'm not just here saying, oh, you need to write a blog post or, oh, you need to post on social media. No, this is important. This is really important stuff because if you're not adapting to AI search now, you're going to be behind. We say this all the time, but it is worth repeating that your website should be working for you, and AI is becoming a bigger piece of that puzzle. We need to be able to adjust to that and show up in that too. So if you've been meaning to get your SEO set up or finally make sense of all of this, now would be a really, really good time to dive in as we are celebrating the updated version of the course with a sale this week only. You can get SEO Unleashed for 20% off by heading to petmarketingunleashed.com/SEO-course. We'll also link that in the show notes and use code visibility at checkout to get 20% off now through May 24th. And if you are listening to this episode after May 24th, you can always use code PMU podcast to get 10% off as a thank you for being a podcast listener of ours. Thank you so much for being here, Petpreneur. We'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for sticking with me until the very end of today's episode. It really means a lot. That's why I'm excited to share an end of podcast listener only exclusive discount with you today. One of the top things pet business owners tell me they want is to rank number 1 on Google. So Pet Marketing Unleashed went to work and created our course, Pet Business SEO Unleashed. It's built for busy pet business owners who don't know much or anything about SEO and don't know where to start to make it happen. Inside the course, I walk you through the process step by step, from how to connect to Search Engine Console to what on-page SEO settings you need to customize, how to rank in a saturated market, and so much more. SEO is one of the most powerful ways to stand out from the competition and get more eyes on your business, and we've made it accessible for you to do on your own. Because you're a part of the PMU podcast community and you stuck around till the very end, we'd love to gift you a 10% discount on the SEO course when you use the code PMU podcast at checkout. To enroll, head on over to petmarketingunleashed.com/SEO-course and don't forget to use the code PMU podcast to save 10%. And if you found today's episode helpful, I would so appreciate it if you shared it with a friend or left a review and rating, as that's one of the best ways you can support our podcast. Thanks again so much for listening, and I will be back soon with another episode.